You're listening to Montreal Now with Aaron Rand and Natasha Hall on CJAD 800.
That is James MENNIE over at the Montreal Gazette. So, Jim, let me start off by talking about the Liberal confab over the weekend. I love your headline, which is the Quebec Liberals need a leader. What they got instead was a soap opera. So please, fill everybody in.
Well, I mean, the thing is, it was decided, Mom and Dad and the executive said, no, I don't care about all your bellyaching and your worries. We are going to wait until 2025 to find ourselves a leader. Yeah, there are people out there. They've called. We can't tell you who they are, but they've called us. They're interested. But you know what? We're going to play the long game here, and everything's going to be fine, and everything's really going to be swell. And, it's kind of funny because of all the things that are going on.
And there goes Jim.
Oh, we lost Jim.
Jim? Jim, we're losing you on the phone here. Could you switch to a different suite in your home?
Should I back up?
Or go sideways?
Uh-oh. Rewind a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, can now.
Oh, my goodness. Okay. Anyway, long story short, they went up in the long game. They're going to wait to get a leader. You know what I didn't hear this weekend from the Liberals?
What?
Is if this goes through, if this attack on Anglo universities goes through, Bishop's University will cease to exist, and it's going to have an effect on the entire Sherbrooke area.
Hugely.
Now, you know who said that?
Who?
The mayor of Sherbrooke.
Yeah.
Why am I hearing from the mayor of Sherbrooke on this when, in fact, I know everybody outside of Montreal virtually, but why am I hearing from the mayor of Sherbrooke on a fundamental issue like this? This is a big, fat bullseye that's been handed to the Liberals. They're going into this big psychodrama on the weekend. Don't worry, they're patting the membership on the head, and they're saying, don't trust us, we know what we're doing, even though every single element of proof suggests quite the contrary. But the one number I would like to know out of that entire weekend, the one statistic I would love to know is how many of those few hundred delegates who showed up in Drummondville, they applauded, they nodded, they smiled, and they went home, and without any fuss, they simply tore up their Liberal membership card or tossed it in a desk drawer and figured, I got better things to do with my time.
Again, we've said this so many times just over the past little while, the idea that he had the opportunity here to bring a party together. Instead, as you're describing it, of course, it wasn't quite like that. This idea of patting the membership on the head. You would have thought that someone, and I understand as well, Jim, correct me if I'm wrong, at the end when Mark Tongue asked all the MNAs to come up on the stage, Fred Beauchemin did not. So adding a little more drama to the event.
Well, Fred Beauchemin is not a member of the caucus.
No, but still, he is an elected MNA.
Well, yeah, but I think he was well within his rights to do that.
Okay.
I think given what's been going on, and this entire, as far as I'm concerned, I think he kind of got bushwhacked on this. But all that said, okay, I was listening to you guys talking to Christian Bourque before, and Mr. Bourque did make the point, and it is 1,000,000% true. People look at leaders of parties in elections, okay? But much in the same way as generals don't win battles, soldiers do, well, leaders don't win elections. Your ground troops do, your volunteers do, your party workers do. And my concern is they're going to be, wandering off looking for this, top fab, your favorite Liberal leader ever star. And the same thing is going to happen in 2026 as happened in 2018, 2022. There were no troops on the ground, and they're going to get cut to ribbons, and they will deserve every single defeat that they suffer. And don't kid yourselves. It's 18 months. You guys are on the front line of Liberal land. You hear the calls. You hear what people are saying. You see the texts, okay? Believe me.
It ain't pretty.
Just from the smidgen that I hear on the show from our listeners who are the backbone of Liberal support, these guys don't have 18 months, okay? I'm not entirely sure they have 18 weeks. But you know what? This is it. There has never been a Liberal executive who didn't think he or she knew more than anybody else. It's a lesson that they keep refusing to learn, and it's a mistake that they keep making over and over again. And quite frankly, I think they can't afford to make it a third time. Well, they probably will make it a third time, but honestly, guys, we're going to have 25% less to talk about when we discuss events in the National Assembly.
Jim, just before we move on to talking about the NDP convention this weekend, what is this about André Fortin actively seeking candidates from outside the Quebec Liberal Party?
I honestly, he seems to want everybody to be the Liberal leader except him.
Yeah.
This is a guy who has found 18 different ways to say, I'm not interested, but he wants to go rumble everybody. He's going after Mario Rizky. Oh, I'm talking to this one. I'm talking to that one. I mean, he may fancy himself the Swifty Lazar of political leadership campaigns, but the fact is, I would respectfully submit, there ain't nobody lining up for the job right now. And if they are, they're keeping quiet about it. But all that said, I think they're just trying to create some buzz here. Really? If you're interested in it, and I think if you're interested in the party and you're following what's going on right now, 18 months is a luxury you don't have. So frankly, if somebody's sort of, I'm going to wait and see, I think that's not the person you want to have to be the leader, because they may end up being the leader, but they won't be leader for a very long time, because the first thing you'll be hearing out of them on election night is your concession speech.
So let me move on and get to this other story. The other convention over the weekend was the NDP convention. I know Jagmeet Singh ended up with, 81% of the vote, but a lot of people think, maybe he is certain, for a lot of people, maybe within the party, there's a bit of disenchantment with him. And then there was the issue, of course, of people trying to bring up the Israel-Hamas situation there. What did you make of it?
Well, the thing is, first of all, that number, as impressive as it may seem to your average listener, he keeps dropping. Every time there's a vote, the number keeps going down. But although 81%, frankly, I don't think he has to look over his shoulder. What I liked about this weekend, though, is, the realization, some people are saying, this deal we have with the Liberals is not working out. We're propping them up, but we're not getting anything in return, blah, 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 blah. The NDP has basically profited from that smug, supercilious assurance that they can do and say whatever they want because they know they will never form a government in a zillion years. But there's an existential element to all of this now, because, as most people know, if it looks like Poilievre is poised to become prime minister, anybody who's got an NDP membership card or likes the NDP is going to vote for the Liberals, because, as we know, stop me if I've heard this one before, the NDP will never form a government in a zillion years. So I think they're finally realizing, the rank and file are realizing, that it's not going to be as easy to tut everybody around you when it looks like the walls are closing in. And quite frankly, I don't see, they're turning around saying, we want to have a full-blown, pharmacare plan in this country, no exceptions, yada, yada, yada. What's your leverage? Are you going to break the deal? Because if you break the deal, you're putting Pierre Poilievre in power, and that's it. And believe me, people will remember what you did. So I'm kind of interested seeing the NDP whirl like a dervish in an ever-shrinking circle that they created. So we'll see what happens. I really wish that Jagmeet Singh would really bring the hammer down and say, listen, I'm in charge. You don't like it, I'll leave, get somebody else to do this job. But we're seeing it again. The NDP, Aaron, you used that expression before, they too have a habit of eating their own.
Yeah.
And it'll be fascinating to see, as these polls get worse and worse for Justin Trudeau and better for Pierre Poilievre, just how many shots the NDP exactly thinks is going to be able to call.
Well, what did you make, though, Jim, of this whole idea at the beginning, those people trying to force their way in because of their position and what's going on right now between Israel and Hamas, and the NDP, I guess, of all the political parties, not being perhaps as forceful in condemning that original attack? Will that hurt them?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's the kind of thing. I hate to use the cliche, and I don't usually use it in terms of politics, but for God's sakes, read the room.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the time to turn around and start recycling, slogans for Free Palestine from 15, 20 years ago. Look what's going on right now. Look how people are reacting. Look what people are saying. And if you're looking for some kind of leadership on this, the idea, well, no, we're going to stay true to our values. Go ahead, stay true to your values, and say hi, to everyone else living in oblivion when you get there, because that's exactly what's going to happen. But it is kind of scary that there are that many people who are theoretically involved in the political process in our country who are absolutely and so utterly out of touch.
James Mennie, the Montreal Gazette. Thank you, Jim.
Adama.